Cusp of Beauty Tarot. I'm going to do air sign readings for relationship for October 2020. I'm going to timestamp them. I'm going to do my old spread. So this first sign I'm going to do is Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. October 2020. What's going on for you and the person that you're thinking about? It could be love or other relationship, just whatever you're thinking about right now. Okay. You'll see yourself on one or the other side, and I will timestamp all the air sign readings. You are in the energy of the Ace of Swords. You see the other person in the energy of the Knight of Cups. You feel about them the Eight of Pentacles. They are in the energy of the Four of Cups. They see you as Gemini or Aquarius. They see you as this earth sign that you are. I mean, the air sign that you are. I keep saying earth sign. Interesting. You may have an earth sign that you're dealing with. But anyway, they see you as the King of Swords. And they feel about you the Four of Pentacles. They're blocking. Your person, Gemini, is blocking or fighting an urge to connect with you. Although they might want to communicate or want the truth of the matter, they see you in a really romantic way. They see you as the Knight of Cups. I'm sorry, you see them as the Knight of Cups. You're hoping to get the truth of the matter or get clear on something, but your person is blocking. They see you holding that sword in your true power, and you are holding that sword. But they're kind of rejecting a little bit or putting this off a little bit. They've got their wall up, Four of Pentacles. The energy between the two of you, though, is this passionate connection, Gemini. The obstacle is the Lovers. Wow. It's actually almost like the connection is the obstacle. Advice is the Magician. It's another Gemini card for me. So even though, and the Lovers, this is amazing. Potential outcome is this Eight of Cups, the walking away. One of you might have already walked away, or there could be still a walk away happening here. Bottom of the deck, though, is creating in this beautiful manifestation and nurturing card, the Empress. So you could be dealing with a nurturing potential relationship or partner, or a relationship that could use nurturing or still has something in it to manifest or create, because you have the potential, excuse me, to create here. So let's get reading. So you're in the energy of wanting the truth. You might want to communicate. Cut to the chase, Gemini. You see your person as being a bit more emotional or romantic with the Knight of Cups. You feel like you've been, you're hard at work. I don't know if you're at work on this relationship or not, but you're hard at work in general. Something. You're hard at work, either, professionally, or you're willing to put in the work on this relationship. And your person, though, is blocking off your offer, which is interesting because you see them as being a bit more romantic, but I don't know if they are, though, because they're blocking an offer. You see them. I think you see them as a potential ideal, sweep me off my feet romantic partner, but they're blocking. I don't think they're offering. I think they're blocking. You've got two kind of blocking cards for the person that you're thinking about. And they see you as being less emotional. They see you as being really rational. And maybe because in the past you've been emotional and kind of gushy toward them, but you've gotten wise to it or something, or you've turned on your more air qualities, and they see that in you. The obstacle is, I think, I don't know, a decision that was made, or the relationship itself was too intense with passion, or with like, oh my gosh, Karma, like intensity that maybe even the two of you didn't know how to deal with. I mean, the advice is that you could create here. You still could create. This is an infinite connection. You still have the ability to create something here. I'm not sure what. It looks like for the time being, maybe it's just October, you both are kind of pressing pause. The potential here is to get deeper and kind of get an inner knowing and not so much a superficial attraction thing. Because there's creation here. There's the Empress, beautiful energy. There's the Magician. But the person that you're thinking about, unless it's you doing all this blocking, the person that you're thinking about has been doing a lot of blocking. But the irony is kind of funny because they see you as being less emotional. I feel like, Gemini, they feel like you used to be there for them in some way, and that now you're kind of holding up your own guard. That's what I feel like. But this has been a really intense relationship with that Lover's card there. So what else? Let's pull some Mystic Moon oracles for this side over here. You might see yourself on one side or the other. It's not engraved in stone, but I'm going to call this Gemini unawakened and numbing. So whoever's on this side is definitely kind of in some old patterns, and maybe that's a little bit of this 8 of discs. Recreating old patterns and not something new. It's like if you continue these old patterns, you're not going to move forward. So whoever's on this side who's wanting, you know, to maybe have victory, communicate, come in, who's working hard at something, but maybe they're creating an old pattern, you know? I mean, you know, for sure, this 8 of Pentacles is in this Rider-Waite is always about kind of everything looking the same. He's going to just make his widget, put it in, make his widget, put it in, make his wheel, put it in. So maybe there's just been a pattern here that hasn't been able to shift, but there's a definite Russian sort of passionate connection between the two of you. Maybe that's what the two of you have relied upon, and it never went deeper. It seems like it's making me a little sad because it has the potential to go deeper. Really. And the advice is, wow, you know, Magician, you might be able to create here. Looks like for now, during this period though, and maybe it's because we were kept, or at least for right now, I mean, there's a full moon in this picture. There's some questing that will happen. And if you're on the side of being slightly less awake and maybe diverting yourself in a numbing fashion with some habit that doesn't serve you, or maybe this relationship is that, it's kind of saying you might need to take a pause and go within and figure this out. On the other side, I'm going to pull 2 on the other side as well. Mirroring. What did we just say? Crossroads. Okay. So the person that you're thinking about, or if you're over on this side, you're mirroring each other. And there is a crossroads. There is a certain juncture happening right now. And they're blocking. And, you know, something important is going to come out of this period. Something important is going to manifest, is going to get created. But it's like your partnership is the obstacle. So there needs to be a break and recognition of what needs to be developed and worked on here, because you are mirroring each other. They're blocking in their own way, and you're blocking with some kind of pattern that's not working for you. Okay. So, yeah, I wish you luck with that, Gemini. And I'm going to move on to Libra. And let's see what's going on for Libra. You can skip ahead to Libra if you're also watching for Libra. And if you're a cusper, I'm putting cusp readings up as well this month. They're not all up yet, but a bunch of them are. Okay. This is for Libra. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. I'm time-stamping the air signs. Doing it by element for October for relationship. I do have signs up as well for cuspers, but this is for straight up Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for relationship October 2020. And you are in the energy of the Ten of Wands. You see your person, Knight of Wands. You feel about them judgment. They're in the energy of the Sun. They see you as the Six of Cups. Wow. They feel about you the Death. And what's between you is the Knight of Swords. Oh, there's some interesting and kind of jagged energies here. The obstacle, wow, besides there being like a major change happening, the obstacle is freedom and independence here, and kind of realizing worth and self-esteem. Nine of Pentacles. The advice is the Lovers. The potential outcome is going to be during this period maybe a little bit of confusion, maybe staying in fantasy. Bottom of the deck energy is the King of Swords. So again, another air signs could be one of you, but it's that air sign quality. And I think the person on, there's definitely just some angst on both of your parts. There's definitely just a little bit of, I think you're feeling that this person has ended something or wants to have an ending, and for you it feels like a burden because maybe you've been holding things up here, Libra, because you're carrying the lion's share here. With the Ten of Wands, you've kind of reached the end of a cycle, and they're already seeing that a change needs to happen. I think you are too, because you feel judgment, like a turning point is coming. I think that both of you feel like a cataclysmic kind of a turning point is coming, and there's kind of a rush to get to the truth for this relationship. Interestingly, you know, you see them as being passionate and fast-moving and maybe coming in with a message, or, you know, charismatic, or there's an attraction. I mean, you see that person in the Knight of Wands energy, and they are in the Sun energy. They are kind of, you know, burning a passionate or at least a joyful kind of light energy. And they see you as the Six of Cups, like an innocent and joyful energy. So what's going on here is kind of confusing to me. You're feeling some kind of burden. You might have been carrying the lion's share of this relationship, Libra. And they feel like they want to make a change. Change doesn't mean change out of the relationship or change away from you. Death just means there's an ending of something that will not go back to the way it was. It's just probably never going to take shape back to the way it was. So that's not necessarily a bad or negative thing. It just means something will never be the same here. And it could be onto a good thing. Could be onto a good thing. The advice is to get to the heart of what this connection is with the Lovers. This is a heartfelt, soul-based, heart-to-heart connection. It's really important. It's really deep. Or you may need to make a decision about it, because sometimes the Lovers is a decision we have to make about an important relationship. One of you might want to have some freedom here, and that's becoming an obstacle to the situation with this Nine of, or that's just the obstacle, like you both feel a little still kind of chained to each other. You're both a little stuck in your opinion, to be honest, too, with and under the current energy of the King of Swords. And you might be, for this period of time in October 2020, just a little confused on where this is going to land. Because there's a bunch of change going on here. It's hard to say. Let's pull a couple oracles for Libra side here. October 2020. Libra, mute. And purge. Yeah, definitely. With those 10 of Wands, you need to let down those wands. Get rid of that burden. Purge out the negative. You've got the Knight of Swords between the two of you. It's not like you have not been communicating. Somebody's been rushing in on both sides, wanting to communicate. Maybe you're not communicating your true feelings. Some part of you wants to reconcile, but you feel kind of burdened by this whole thing. And I don't know if you're speaking your truth. I feel like you might not be freely speaking. It's not that you're not communicating. I just feel like you may not be freely speaking. Maybe you're afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. And then on the side of the other person, what else can we know about the side of the other person? They're in the innocence of the sun. They see you in the innocence of the Six of Cups, but there's a change coming. There's a change coming. We have the death and we have rebirth here with the spring. So, wow, that's very in line. And deception. I think they're holding something back too, or they think you are. They think you might be. They might see that you're holding something back, or there's something you don't know. And that's why during this period of October 2020, we still have the Seven of Cups. There's going to be some confusion. So don't expect this to be completely resolved. You do need to keep hedging your bets, getting toward, understanding this connection or making a decision. Change is coming. Rebirth is happening. It looks like you have to drop the burden on this side. Maybe figure out how to speak your truth or speak from the heart. There's a deceptive side that you don't know about. There's something you don't know about this other side. But change is coming. I just feel like for this period, you might be working with a bit of confusion. So I hope it does clear up for you. Take from this whatever messages you can, but definitely need to purge and let down some of these burdens for sure. And make a heartfelt decision or realize the connection here and act accordingly. Play off what your partner's doing. There's a change coming. I don't know that you have control over this change. When death happens and change like this happens, if they're feeling there's a change that needs to happen for better or for worse, doesn't mean it's always bad. We can't control that. If we control that or resist it, then you get like a tower moment, like kind of crumbling down. So it doesn't look like that's happening. So I think you're going to go with the flow. All right. So that was Libra. And then the third of the series is going to be Aquarius, my last Earth air sign. Aquarius. You can skip ahead. I'm going to do some shuffling. I'm going to timestamp it for you. This is Aquarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Aquarius. October 2020 relationship. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, Aquarius, what's up for you? You are in the energy of the Eight of Pentacles. You might be working hard. You see your person as the Ten of Swords. You feel about them the Moon. Wow, intense energies here. They are in the energy of the Ten of Wands. Yeah, they're definitely dealing with some difficulties. They see you, though, as the Queen of Cups. They feel the Three of Pentacles. They want to build. They want to team with you. They want to build. They want to be part of the connection. They may just want to date, go out. But they're carrying a burden. And you see them as being at the end of a cycle, too, with the Ten of Swords. Maybe they were hurt. The energy between the two of you, Aquarius, is what some people call the Aquarius card, King of Swords. I kind of tend to see it as any of the air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or maybe not even an air sign, but it's a cool, rational, not overly emotional, but pretty in charge kind of a energy. The obstacle is the Page of Swords, another air energy. The advice is the Nine of Swords. It's odd for advice, but it's probably about dealing with the anxiety. The potential outcome is the Queen of Swords. Wow. And then usually they say if you see a king and a queen in the same reading, it's a partnership. And some readers will say with the exception of the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords, because they're all about kind of getting to logic and cutting things out. And how could that really be such a warm and fuzzy partnership when they're kind of that way by nature? So that's interesting. I kind of tend to think it is a partnership. I kind of lean on that it is. So we'll see. And then under the deck, under the current energy, is the Nine of Wands. So definitely some struggles with this energy between the two of you. I think you're distracting yourself with a work situation with the Eight of Pentacles, Aquarius. You're working hard, or in less common a situation, you might be trying to approach things in the same way that you always have, which is just creating a pattern. I feel like for most of you, it's a work hard kind of a vibe, and you see the person and they are feeling overloaded, burdened. They are at the end here. You both seem to have this dragged out Nine of Wands energy. You're hanging in there, but this guy's been around the block. You've been around the block with this partnership a lot, and you need balance and harmony to be restored. You definitely do. Let's see if that will happen. I mean, for now, not being as emotional seems to be where you're both going with this mutual energy of the King of Swords. They do want to build. Despite what they're dealing with, they want to build with you, and they see you as the generous and unconditionally loving Queen of Cups. So that's where you've been. But what you're bringing and what they're bringing right now is much more rational. And the obstacle could be that somebody kind of wasn't really thinking and wasn't that emotionally intelligent and came through with a communication, or the obstacle that wasn't that warm and fuzzy, or the obstacle is that you're just not communicating right now, or there's a lack of truth or a lack of communication. The advice would be is to really examine what's really at the heart of this anxiety. What's really keeping you up at night? What's the bad feeling that you're really harboring here? What's that about? Examine that. Come to terms with it, because during this period, this is all going to force, and you're feeling the moon toward this person, so you're feeling, some fear or angst or concern yourself, or that something's missing, like you're not aware of the whole picture. They're hiding something. For some of you, you feel like they're hiding something. But what's going to happen during this period with the Queen of Swords is it's going to force the two of you to cut to what's real, cut to the chase, lean on what's working for you, what's not, cutting everything else away. And that's what's happening when there's this much angst, this much burden starting to happen, this much burden the other person's realizing, and they also, you see them as actually feeling completely, betrayed or screwed over by something. So you're both carrying, this person especially, I just have to say, the person you're dealing with, is definitely in the midst of some kind of a huge load that they're carrying, or betrayal that they're feeling. I think it's kind of rubbing off on you. It's rubbing off on you, but they're struggling with something more than you, Aquarius. For those of you that this, is resonating with, let's pull a couple Mystic Moon oracles for Aquarius around this relationship. Guide and fall. So, yeah, it's happening right now. It's the fall season, but you're going to need to kind of go within, trust your intuition. They see you as the Queen of Cups, so chances are that you have a really strong intuitive and wise side to you, empathetic and emotional side to you that you can tap into. Right now you're not. You're guarded up with this non-emotional energy the two of you have collectively. You're holding the emotion of moon very close to you. So I don't think you're even sharing that you're that emotional or that you're that worried about this situation. But in any event, you need to go within and tap your intuition and look for answers around what to do here, what to cut out, what to keep. If you're going to support this person who's seemingly, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and you've been around the block this many times with this relationship, to get to harmony, because temperance was under here too, you're going to have to figure it out. Maybe you have to disconnect to figure it out, basically. And now's the time. What can you harvest? Fall. What can you take from this and move forward with that'll be positive? Oh, jeez. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to get these cards for you. What your other person is dealing with. Hold on. They're dealing with the divine feminine. So if there's been a harsher energy for them, and they're dealing with the divine masculine. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever pulled those two cards. I've never, and they jumped right out of my deck. The divine masculine and the divine feminine. So they're, wow, okay, so they probably have a pretty extreme side to them. It's either very masculine or feminine. We all have a divine masculine and a divine feminine within us, no matter whether we identify as masculine or feminine. We have a masculine and feminine side. Wow. So I think that that for some reason they have a more masculine side, and they're trying to identify with their softer side, and they're trying to identify with their feelings, and they've been kind of carrying the burden. They've been, dealing with all this angst. So they have to find a way to see where this divine union between the two of you could be, have potential. But first, they have to find their own divine masculine and feminine, identify with that, their soft and their feeling and their logical side. Because what they're bringing is their logical side. What you're bringing is your logical side. I think you've both shied away from emotions. They are probably by nature. You are probably just by the sake of, maybe by nature, but I think that you've been the Queen of Cups, an emotional one in the past, and you're just kind of like, I can't do that right now. So this is a really fascinating reading. I'm going to pull one more on the King of Swords that's between you, and one more on the Queen of Swords, which is a potential outcome. King of Swords, admired. At the heart of the energy between the two of you, you have an admiration toward each other. So that should feel very positive. And release. Yes, definitely. There's all these tens of swords, wands. There's the angst of the 9 of wands. There needs to be a release, and also not only release of anything negative, but the Queen of Swords energy in the potential outcome wants to cut that out, cut that away, and release whatever is burdening this relationship or whatever is burdening each of you separately. There needs to be a letting go of that, a cutting away of that. There's also an element of release that means doesn't need to be a real push against the universe. You need to release it to the universe, almost like making a wish and just saying this is going to turn out for my higher good and for our higher good. So that's what this is telling me. I hope that was useful, Aquarius. Take from it what you will, and I wish you a lot of luck with that this October 2020, and I'll see you soon.